happy to introduce our speaker for the month, creator, illustrator, writer, animator, Joe Phillips.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet all of you guys. I appreciate it, guys and gals and guys. And I'm glad to be invited to speak with you guys. I'm sorry I was late. I had some stupid stuff I had to do, and finally I made it. So I'm not really sure exactly what I'm supposed to talk about, what you guys want to know or whatever, but I've been doing comics and animation and all this stuff for going on almost 40 years now, ever since I was in high school. And my first comic book was Speed Racer. No. That was my first big break. I did some comic book work for a company called Southern Knights, and I did New Mutants for them for a couple of issues. They paid like, I don't know, $20 a page. It was something crazy like that. And but I was just happy to get to work. And then I would go to comic book conventions and meet all the other artists, and I would go up and show the editors my work, and they would all give me advice. And I got a lot of really good advice. Archie Goodwin gave me some really good advice. He was at editor at Marvel, and he was just saying, just calm down, because I was drawing so excitedly. He could see the excitement, but some of the technicality of what I needed to be doing was sort of lacking. And he said, if you just kind of calm down and pay attention to what you're doing, your stuff is really gonna take off. And that is exactly what I did. And over time I got Speed Racer, and then we're doing paintings, and I was doing Interview with the Vampire over at Now Comics, and I was doing all kinds of fill-in work when I got hired in over at DC Comics working on Mr. Miracle. And after that, it just sort of snowballed into many different projects. And along the way, I met a lot of other artists and shared my work. I think even before I got professional, I met Donna. She'd come down and visit a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours. Dina was just in love with her work, and I don't know if you came in for a convention and stayed a couple of extra days or something like that.
I think that was the situation. Dina
yeah.
wanted me to stay a couple more days, and we figured why not on one plane ticket.
Yeah, and so you came down, and she do these amazing horses, and it just everything was, and it was just so cool. And it's so strange, because she was publishing a book, and at the time I wasn't, and so it was, it's interesting, all these many years later, we're still friends, and we still, love to see each other at conventions. And
well, let me tell you something right now. If you're ever down and miserable, Joe will put you back up on the top of the world, because he is the greatest hugger on the entire planet.
Oh, you are so sweet. Hugs all around.
Hugs all around. No.
So yeah, and it's been wild, and just sort of meeting other artists and collaborating and working on stuff. Back in the 90s, I started a art studio with fellow comic book people, and we started a studio called Gaijin Studios. It was in Atlanta, and we were all working in comics at the time, and illustrated books and stuff like that. And everybody sort of in that group went on to really decent names in the comic book industry. So there were I don't know how much you guys know as far as like traditional superhero comic book stuff, but it was there were Tony Harris and Adam Hughes, Brian Stelfreeze, Carl Story, Cully Hamner, Jason Pearson, Wade Grawbadger, and myself, and a few others came through there, Dexter Vines, and I more than I can remember because I left after a while. But other than that, I think, just recently I've been just trying to enjoy drawing. And I like to sort of switch up styles and kind of, anytime I see something that I haven't done before, it excites me. And I say, oh, can I do that? And I like to, keep pushing the boundaries of what I do. So if there's any questions before we get to some of the illustrations, please ask.
I think everybody just wants to see your art.
All right, then.
They want to see the
It
pretties.
always amazes me people who are able to essentially improvise with different styles, considering I remember the interview of the vampire material, which was pretty much straight painting on paper, and then seeing some of the more cartoonish stuff that you were showing before we
Right.
started.
Well, like I said, it's one of those things I always want to challenge my brain to see if it's something that I can do. Some stuff I get pretty good at, and some stuff I get, I just kind of go, yeah, that's cool, but I can't do it. And so I try not to let that impede my progress. But I'm going to show you guys some stuff. We're going to do some shared screen if I can get this to work properly. Share the screen, and there we go.
Good work.
We're good, yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the Bedrock Vixens, and this is I was doing the DC comic characters and some Marvel characters as in the Hanna-Barbera style, and so we have Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. And then we have the Birds of Prey, which is the Huntress and Pterodactyl Girl, I guess, instead of Batgirl, and Black Canary. And here we have the trio of Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, of course. And then I did a Justin style version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course, if you're going to do, Jetson styles, anything, I did Legion of Superheroes. And so I have all the different characters from that. Not all of them, they're just like, they've got 100+ characters. This was the Teen Titans. And of course, the X-Men.
Oh, wow.
And this was I used to love what was that Wacky Racers.
Oh yeah.
And so I did what if all the Marvel characters had wacky race cars. So I did a little cartoon of that, and working on some comic book work, creating a book called Joe's 80-Page Giant, which is basically an 80-page comic book that has 8 10-page stories, and each story is a different set of characters that I've created, and some of the characters have some illustrations of. So this is a Hellhound, and he's sort of like a kind of like the Hulk. Like the angrier he gets, the more hellish he looks, and he gets this sort of blue flame. His partner is Chimera, and she's really fun. She's real sassy, and she likes to talk smack as she fights. And the heroes, we have Hot Stuff, And
Oh, she's so
she
cute.
she used to date Hellhound, so they have baggage. And so I think that'll be kind of fun. One of the side characters is Manosaur, and he's a character who can turn into half man, half dinosaur creatures.
Mm.
Um, because I do love dinosaurs. And we have I can't remember his name right now. Yeah, I know, right? You create a character and you get a look and you're going like, what's his name? I don't know. But yeah, he was sort of like a cross between Captain America and Superman. So I just went with the American Eagle look. And then one of my favorite characters is Mapache, and
Um,
he is he has raccoon powers, whatever. he can call he can call up a horde of raccoons no matter where he's at and do his bidding. And he's just kind of nuts. But I like him. And of course I had to do it. I loved Gorillas, the band. And so I did a picture of me as if I was, in that world. Alongside of that, I've got I do a group of characters called the Merbies, which are sort of cute little mermaids. And I did a coloring book. And so there's some of the characters from that.
nice.
That's very
So it's available on Amazon, and it's got a bunch of pictures of different Merbies, so people can color them up and stuff. And then I also did a series. I love Al Hirschfeld, and so I did a series of Al Hirschfeld images. And these are a couple of the color ones. I've got the black and whites if you guys want to see those, but I'll pull those up. So there's Kirk Douglas as Batman. And here's Lauren Bacall and Edward G. Robinson as X-Men. We have Liz Taylor as Wonder Woman. And Harry Belafonte as the Falcon. And this is Lucy as the Scarlet Witch, and Tyrone Power as the Vision. All right, so that's some of the work. I have more, but you need to just let me know what you want to see, and I'll find it.
Well, I know you did much more ornate and complex versions of the movie star crossover with the
Yeah,
superheroes that
I
were kind
did.
of fabulous, especially the movie posters.
Mhm.
If you got those, they're
All
something to
right,
see.
sure. Let me get those for you.
If I'm not in, or somebody else
No,
doesn't want to
no,
see something,
yeah,
he's got all
anybody,
kinds of stuff.
there's a lot of stuff. A lot of crap.
I haven't seen any.
Oh, but you will. You will.
Now
So
it's a
much.
I
challenge.
There's
definitely want to see more pictures.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then let's.
You should follow him on Facebook. It is an inundation of art.
Will do.
Let's see. That might take a minute. That's Photoshop files. They're kind of large. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, here we go. Here's the smaller JPEGs. There we go. Let's do share screen again. Share the screen. And where is it? There we go. Oh, let me do this first. Command F. Nope, oops. Nope. Computers, you love them and you hate them. Man, why? There we go. Okay, where is it? I'm going to cancel this for a second. I screwed up. Okay, now I did it. Ta-da! Brain works. Hooray! Okay, so here we go. Here, can you see that?
Yes.
All right. So this was a series of movie posters. Combining my old love of old movies. I used to watch the Turner Classic Movies when I was a kid, and fell in love with all of those. And I thought, well, what if the superhero craze had happened, in the 40s? And so I went and I did a bunch of movie posters based off of that idea. And so here we go. And Buster Crabbe and Rita Hayworth. Iron Man with Clark Gable and Ingrid Bergman as Pepper Potts, and Bill Bojangles Robinson as Rhodey. The Joker's Wild did Danny Kaye and Shirley MacLaine. James Cagney as the Hulk, with Claudette Colbert as Betty. Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn for Batman and Catwoman, of course. And Gregory Peck as Superman, with Yul Brynner as Lex Luthor, and Rosalind Russell as Lois Lane.
What are you using for this? It almost looks like gouache, I think.
Yeah, these are all digital. I was using a bunch of digital brushes, but I've got a lot of painterly style brushes. So because I wanted to have that old gouache look, and I did them. The technique was I would draw them and shade them all in black and white, and then float the colors on top of them like they used to do with the old printing process. So it kind of kept that same feel. Marilyn Monroe's Power Girl. The Teen Titans with Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. And The Vision and Scarlet Witch with Tyrone Power and Lucy Ball again. And one of my favorites right here is William Powell and Carol Lombard as Dr. Strange and Clea. So that's about half of them. I each year I add to it, and I create more and more characters. But just remembering where I put them at.
Yeah, it's funny looking at them. The only thing I can critique is your casting choice with a few of them.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when I try to do casting, I always try to think about what was going on at the time and who was a bigger star and who, like somebody said, well, wouldn't you want to do what's her name from Minnie the Dollar Mermaid, the swimming champion, I forget her name. But anyway, and I said, well, the thing is, at the time, Rita Hayworth was a bigger star than Buster Crabbe, and so she basically had to float the movie. and that's why she's in it. So in my mind, I'm like, thinking of different different characters and what they're doing. I did some stuff from the 70s, which I don't think was as successful. But again, we try. So
Oh.
this was
Oh, I like that.
Clint Eastwood as Wolverine. Let's see. And here is Burt Reynolds as Iron Man, with Sally Fields as Pepper this time, and John Carradine as the Mandarin.
Oh, nice one.
I like how you were using Jimmy Cagney as the Hulk, because Jimmy Cagney was a little guy.
Oh yeah, no, which I thought was funny. So they like made him bigger than life, and I was imagining that it would be those
Yeah, because
the old film technique where you make someone look like they're a giant, by having the other people in the front and they're in, or they're in the front and everybody else is in the background, that kind of a thing. So I thought,
hard to think of all of the kind of wrestler types who were.
oh yeah, well that's true.
The only guy I'm thinking of, the only person I can think of was that chess playing wrestler who was the Muscle in The Killing.
True, but he couldn't play the Bruce Banner part. So
No, he couldn't, yeah.
There's the rub. But let's see if I can find this. So I did that, and also I did some animation. Let me see if I can. Whoops. Whoops. Stop. Stop. You press a button and stuff starts happening, and you're not ready for it to happen yet. All right. Oh, stop. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna play this for you guys. Share screen. Okay. You see that?
Yep.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Get me the monkeys. No one expects the monkeys.
So that is one of the pieces that I did with my brother and a couple of buddies. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's some of the work that I have been doing. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but you just have to let me know what you're interested in, and I can, see if I can find something that would, um, cartoon stuff or, um, oh wait, I got one for you. Let's see, Command F. Um, I know. Okay. And what I've got here is share screen. Right. I did I did a children's coloring book for dinosaurs, but then I took the same images and working with a writer, a fellow cartoonist, and a dinosaur enthusiast, Scott Shaw, to create a dinosaur book. And so this is the some of the artwork from that. And I wanted them to all have a little bit of personality, not just I tried to make them accurate with the anatomy, but I still wanted to have a little bit of animation in their faces and personalities. And these were colored digitally, and there was several different techniques to use to create the backgrounds with some photography and some digital manipulation and illustration. A lot of times I'll draw, I'll just spend a whole day drawing plants and just put them in a file with a transparent background. And then when I need to fill a scene quickly, I'll just go and I'll grab those plants.
Though those posterized backgrounds work remarkably well and merge with the front quite nicely.
Thank you. I like to kind of come back in and add a few extra lines because like digitally, sometimes when you do a poster technique like that, because the computer doesn't know what two shapes are supposed to be, and so sometimes you can just kind of go back on top of it and draw them in, or you'll add to them. So like in this picture, all the plants in the front are drawn, and the plants in the background are photo manipulations.
I like the texture that you're using for the skin there too. What's that?
What I did is I drew a black and white hexagon pattern,
Right.
and use the warp tool in the computer to sort of warp the shape, and then I would turn it to negative so that you could kind of see through the background, and that way I could and then once it was all on there, I would come back in and I would like pick out just a few pieces to make darker or lighter to kind of give it some texture. There's a Therizinosaur. This is a Titanosaur out in the marsh with the little theropod coming up to bother him.
Literally biting off more than he can chew.
Yeah, and the fun part is trying to find really good forest pictures without any grass or flowers in them. So Yeah, since they didn't have any of that during the dinosaur age, so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can't just put whatever you want in there.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a fun thing right there. So those are my dinosaurs.
Your dinosaurs are marvelous. They managed to be almost perfectly scientifically accurate while they've still got the expressions of Hanna-Barbera. It's wonderful.
It's kind of fun. Hopefully the kids will like it, and they like the coloring book, so hopefully they will like the rest of it too.
Carnosaur reacting to a butterfly was a very nice touch.
Well, birds still chase butterflies, so yeah. Kids love dinosaurs. They're gonna love it.
It's always fun.
Well, who else here was so excited the day you found out that they were no longer that they weren't actually extinct?
That was very exciting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, very exciting.
Running in circles and screaming does not describe it.
So funny is that you look at the pieces of these birds and you kind of go like, oh yeah, I can see that. You look at a cassowary and you're like, yeah, that's a dinosaur.
Mhm.
It doesn't have a long tail, but other than that, that's a dinosaur.
A much more mundane example of that for me was this summer where I was visiting my folks in New England and watching wild turkeys cross the street. And
Mhm.
sort of like domestic turkeys, I never feel guilty about eating because I regard them as a vegetable. Wild turkeys are proof that dinosaurs walk the woods.
Yes.
Well, where I live, just down the street is a hennery where there are a whole bunch of great blue heron nests.
Uh-huh.
And down on a tree down low, there's a hanging skeleton of one. And it's amazing to see what the head looks like. It is so weird looking.
Uh-huh.
So okay, so I've got some more to show. Let's see, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna bring it over to my side so I can control the screen better. All right, so some we go share screen. Finder, share. Boom. All right, here we go. So we've got Audrey Hepburn as Batgirl.
Oh, you're really channeling Hirschfeld really well in this one.
Yeah, this is his Hirschfeld series here. He does a bunch of beauties.
There's Betty Davis as Hela. Sidney Poitier as Black Panther. There's Boris Karloff and Vincent Price as Professor X and Magneto. There's my Buster Crabbe again as Aquaman. Doris Day as Miss Marvel. There's Donald O'Connor as the Creeper. Don Knotts as the Green Lantern. Charlton Heston as Thor. Carol Channing, this is one of my favorites. Carol Channing and Pearl Bailey as Captain Marvel, because in the comic books, there were two Captain Marvels at one point. And so I thought since they both played Dolly on Broadway, that would be fun. And there's my Doctor Strange with Tyrone Power. Not Tyrone Power, sorry. Oh my God, my brain. The Thin Man. Oh man,
William
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 Powell.
Powell.
William Powell.
William Powell.
Okay, William Powell. Thank you very much. And I tried to put the Ninas in, hide the men, like he did, and so like there's like a bunch of them there and whatnot. There's my Gene Kelly Flash. There's Hope and Crosby as Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Fred McMurray is the Flat. Oh, he has Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. He's a Captain Marvel too, or Shazam, as
Yeah.
they call him, of course.
Very appropriate since he was based.
Yeah. I did. Of course, Eartha Kitt has to stay Catwoman, right? She, so
It was the best.
I think so. And there's my Iron Man again. Here is my Joker and Harley, which again is I tried to put the Ninas in her little side piece there, which is cool. There's Joan Crawford as Medusa. And oh yeah, this is Jerry Lewis and Buddy Hackett as Plastic Man. And there's Peter O'Toole as Green Lantern. I mean, Green Arrow. Here's Shirley Temple and Bojangles as Supergirl and the Martian Manhunter. And there's Tony Curtis as Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing. Here is Barbara Stanwyck as the White Queen. And I did Yul Brynner as the Submariner. And here is the Rat Pack as the Green Lantern Corps. Of course, he makes green vodka or whatever he's drinking. And there's the Gregory Peck Superman. So yeah, it was a series I did of these were like collectible cards, and so people went to like a lot of this stuff is when I go to comic conventions or book signings, I'll bring stuff like that so that people can pick it up. And I did this as a series of 5x7s and 8x10 cards and frameable prints. And so right now I'm just working on a children's book called Princess George. It's about this little boy who wants to be a princess for his birthday, and his dad's kind of freaking out a little bit. But at the same time, they kind of, so he starts asking a whole bunch of questions, and so let me see if I can share some of that artwork. Let's see. Okay. And where is the share screen? Oh, 1 minute. Let's stop sharing. I'm talking and not sharing the screen. Sharing the screen. Boom. Okay, cool. Here we go. So this is the story so far. You scroll up. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the basic story, and he's just talking about how George is like a normal kid, and he likes to play with his friends, and he helps his dad out with chores and stuff. And so for his birthday, he asks him what he wants, and he thinks about it, and he says, he wants to be a princess. And he said, well, don't you want to be a prince? And he goes, no, if I was a prince, I have to fight the dragon, but here I can just invite the dragon to my party. And so he's happy. And he said, well, you could be a spaceman. And he shows him that. And he has a reason for not wanting to be a spaceman. And you can be a cowboy. And he didn't want to be a cowboy. And he says, well, you can have a sports day and everybody can go play with balls. And he said, well, I'd rather, dress up. And his dad's like, okay. When he starts thinking about the mom, and because she's away, she's a nurse in a military hospital, because it's a complex story, and he sees all these pictures of mom, and she was all these different things, and one of them was a princess. So he thinks about it. He goes upstairs to the attic, and these are pieces I'm still in the process of working on, and he finds her old dress, and he lets George have it for his party. And so they invite all their friends over, and everybody wears princess dress and have a big bouncy castle and have a good party. And that's the end. So it's just like a simple little story of let kids be kids. And so that should be kind of fun.
It'll be banned in Florida.
What now?
It'll be banned in Florida.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping.
So
Dude,
we'll smuggle it in.
I want them
We'll
to
just
buy it to
smuggle
burn
it
it.
in.
Buy it to burn it, please. Yeah.
We got to do some book smuggling.
Yeah, buy it to burn it. I'm looking forward to that. That's my.
I always remembered that I would have people ordering the desert peach from areas that were like that. And they were like, we can have this whether they try to stop us or not.
It's so weird that in this day and age that anyone would want to burn a book. If you don't like it, don't buy it or don't read it. Just, it's not for you.
Don't get that.
It's more theatrical for their little publicity stunts. I mean, if they wanted to dispose it properly, they could use a composter. But that doesn't.
Or if they don't say anything, maybe the sales will be bad in general, and it will just go out of publication.
Well, I don't think that one would go out of publication. That's adorable. I know our library up here would love it. The North Olympic Library System has many wonderful things in it like this.
Wonderful.
They have very snotty librarians, and every time there's been any attempt to control those librarians, it's been, oh yeah. Mostly because we have the backing of the tribes up here.
Nice.
They're not going to let anybody take their library away from them.
Smart.
So,
But,
yeah, if that one comes out, I want to know how my library can get it.
Well, it's as soon as it's published, I'll let you know. I'm still in the art process, which I should hopefully be done with in another week or so, which would be nice.
Excuse me, sorry. My own cooking.
Who's cooking? So if there's any questions or anything, just let me know. What is everybody else working on?
So what digital programs are you using?
Mainly I'm using Clip Studio Paint. It's been my favorite because it's made for, like Photoshop is made for photo manipulation, but this is more made for specifically for cartoons and animation.
You said Clip Studio?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can second that. I'm a loyal user as well.
Yeah. They may call. See, do they call it Moho now? No, is that the animation they call Moho? Yeah, I think their animation part of the program is called Moho.
Uh,
But yeah, but clips, yeah, clip paint is great. It's got wonderful brushes out of the box, and they have a huge community that creates all these amazing illustration brushes that really make working easy.
Definitely. I've also been making huge use of the model tools as well.
Hmm.
It's not so much as a way of cheating by tracing, but it's great for just lining up your pose to the
Right.
point.
Oh, yeah, and it has that 3D feature that you can it has like you can bring in your they've got like a model of a human that you can bring in and move around, and you can use them, to trace around, the pose. So in case you have a pose that you can't really figure out in your head without having a model, you don't have to, you know, take a photo and do all that. You can just pull the little model in and work with it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's the little things. For example, I found that just customizing different models, it's remarkably useful to be able to remind yourself that a character is just slightly shorter or slightly taller than each other, and
Mm.
by just having those two models next to each other,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
on.
It definitely makes it quicker,
Mhm.
you know, and you can share work amongst if you have a team of people, they can all be on the same program and share the same files, which is great. But and as some of the filters that it comes with are really, really a lot of fun too, because you can create some really nice additional coloring things that you normally wouldn't think about. Traditionally, you're like, well, how do you do that? Translating, um, painting into something digital, but still retaining the paint look, is important. So it doesn't look like a lot of this AI artwork that's out there.
Definitely, I was very impressed. I've been very impressed by the brush tools, which I have not used as much as I could. I mean, the watercolor brush, the way it almost pushes the paint the way the real thing does.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's great, and you can really get some. I mean, there's some people I've seen their work, and you wouldn't know that it was digital just looking at it, and you're just like, oh, how did they do that now? Oh, I use Clip Studio, and you're like, oh, okay. But which is really kind of fun.
How long has it been since you used a real paintbrush?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, I still work traditionally if I can, sometimes, but it just depends on the project, and sometimes people want stuff in hand, and some people they want digital. Like here, I'll show you a couple of pieces. Let's see, I've got a couple of things like these. This is all done in color pencil. I don't know if you can see that. And this was a cover for a comic book,
Oh, cool.
and this was all done in you know, and that's all just good old traditional
Oh,
pencil on paper kind of a thing.
oh wow! I remember that title. Did you do the original or?
I did. That was my book.
Very cool.
Thank you. So yeah, it's just you just have to get in a groove of what's gonna bring you your time, because you have to kind of you have to kind of like say, well, how much time is that going to take, and what do they do with it when it's done, and can you sell it? Because I like to, I have that rule of three. I want to be able to sell something three times. So you can sell the original, you can sell prints, and you can also sell not necessarily copyright, but lease
The rights, yes.
release the rights, and then you can like put it on t-shirts. So there's a fourth time, so that way, like here's some like just plain, ink on paper, G-force from back in the day on the, so yeah, but it's just what's going to be most effective. And I wound up with I've got drawers and drawers of old comic book pages that I had, and some sell and some don't. And if I've got a character on it that somebody likes, of course it sells quickly. But then you wind up with all the connective pages, like you have characters that are just talking, or there's some cars, and nobody's buying that stuff. And so, you wind up with a whole lot of that. And if I thought about how many comic books I've drawn over the years, it's a couple of hundred, and you kind of go like, ooh, there's a lot, there's a lot of wood I have to pack and ship and bring every time I move. And now that's all digital. I just, it's all on the computer, and I'm like, okay, cool. And if I need it printed, we do we've got a local printer here that does amazing giclée work. And so like when I do the movie posters, and print them out, they come out really nice. And that's been a good way for people to get the artwork too.
Very cool. Anybody else have any questions for?
Well, I just want to let everybody know Emerald City's coming up, and I'm going to be there for a day. And also, if anybody gets a chance, come to SquashCon, PA. And maybe if we're really, that's Port Angelis's Comic Con. And maybe if we're really, 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 really lucky, we can get Joe up here for one of these conventions, which would be
That'd be fun.
would be glorious. Yeah, because the Port Angeles convention is getting it. It was crazy the first time, and it's going to be even bigger and better this time. It's all over town.
Yeah, that's good.
Having some artists like Joe out there would be great. I know I'm promoting.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see you again too. It's been hard to get down to San Diego.
Well, that and COVID, when everybody,
Lord.
all the conventions shut down for that.
Oh yeah, it's
So we
rough.
haven't seen anybody and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's definitely made it had an effect on the comic industry, and just art in general. I think, sometimes people had to buckle down, and they didn't buy as much commissions and things like that. They didn't have birthday, outings where they would have, several people, and being able to, put the work together. And so that's definitely been challenging. Always, so that's the other thing, is being flexible as an artist. Just, good business sense, because at some point, there's going to be something they're going to ask for, and hopefully I'll be able to pull it out of my bag of tricks.
Well, great. Well, Joe, it's been fantastic. Pleasure to meet you. I'd really love to do it in person one of these days, but this is the next best
It'll
thing.
happen. It'll happen for sure.
And like I say, you want to see more of Joe's art, and it is this is just the tip of the iceberg. He has masses of wonderful ideas and series over on his Facebook page, and
Yes.
it's worth a follow.